Hey folks, this is Rob from MTG Investor, and I am back from my little break to finish up my Dragons of Tarkir spoiler. Uh, Speculation evaluation. Sorry about the delay there. I was on spring break last week and just gone camping the whole week. And as soon as I got back in town Friday night, next day I went to a wedding, and the next day I went to the SG Open in Fort Worth. Or Dallas, I guess, but technically it's in Fort Worth. No love for Fort Worth for some reason. And so I am finally back, and I'm going to run through just red cards in general here instead of making individual videos as I had intended, because the spoiler has been completely released now for about 5 days. So let's take a look. First card we're going to look at here is Dragon Whisperer. 2 red, 2/2, Human Shaman. For a red, Dragon Whisperer gains flying until end of turn. For a red at 1, can pump it. Dragon Whisperer gets +1/+0 until end of turn. And formidable for 4 and 2 red, you can pump, or not pump, but put a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying on the battlefield. Activate this ability only if you have creatures of total power 8 or greater. Now, first off, right now it is an $8 card. It is a mythic, and I think that's a little bit overpriced. I think this is going to come down. I think it's going to be about a $4-ish card in the standard format. And this one, I'm having a hard time on making any kind of early call on it. Right now I'm looking at $2 to $4 long term after it rotates out of print. But it could be more. I mean, it could be the $4, 5, 6. I don't know. I don't see it really getting past 7 or 8. But you see my note down there for EDH. Is this going to be an EDH staple? Will EDH players use this? I think they probably will, just because it's a dragon. I mean, it's a guy that whispers to dragons, basically. So it has a lot of flavor. So let's put it that way. And so I don't know. Is it playable in standard? That's the better question, I think, as far as a short-term value. It might be. I'm trying to think if this guy comes down early. I mean, the real benefit I think to this guy is the fact that he gains flying for a red. If he can pump, that's also a benefit. But there's some other small red creatures in the environment right now that just seem to outclass this guy. So I don't know how great he's going to be. The formidable part, it's not a tapping ability. It's just something you could just infinitely pump into. So is there a way, like in green-red devotion or green-red ramp, to create a crap load of mana and just make a ton of dragons at the end of your opponent's turn and then just swing for the win? That is the best question. That is that possible in green-red devotion? Now that that's showed up in response to green-white devotion, which basically seemed to end in a 0-0 draw in the big tournaments. So anyway, we'll have to keep that in mind. Let's scroll here and get to the next card. Alright, let's take a look at Sarkhan's Triumph. This card I really like. A red and 2. It's an instant. Search your library for a dragon creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. I wish it just said search your library for a dragon card and not dragon creature card, because then we could get some interesting things. Off the top of my head, I can't remember if Nicol Bolas is a dragon planeswalker or if he's just a planeswalker. Nicol Bolas, I think that's what he is. But anyway, it could open the door if it was just dragon card to a lot of other things. So unfortunately, it's dragon creature card. However, right now, let's just take a look at this. It's an uncommon. It's a $4 foil right now, and I think short term it'll stay a $4 foil because I do think this is going to be an EDH staple, and there will be demand for the foils. So I'm not really dealing with any of the regular versions of Sarkhan's Triumph. I'm just mainly talking about foils here. Long term, I think it's a $6 or more foil card, because as this goes out of print, unless this gets reprinted, I mean, it could get reprinted. I don't see it getting reprinted in a basic set. Maybe in like a a versus deck, I can see it getting reprinted, but I don't think that's going to really change the value too much. Or like a Dragons versus deck or something like that. Or potentially from the Vault Dragons edition, which I think they already have one of those, but maybe they do another version later since there's more dragons here. But anyway, long term, I have this as being a 6+ card. Only because I really think it's going to be something that people hold on to in EDH or use in EDH. I could be off on that one. I'd really like to hear your opinions on that. Do you think that's right? I don't know. I basically want to see how much play this does get in EDH before I can make a true call. Again, this is just speculation. I haven't seen any of these cards in play, how playable they are, so who can say exactly. Now, in the future, cards like this I enjoy because in the future there could be some broken dragon creature card. Maybe there's some humongous giant 2020 dragon that you can immediately go get, flash it into play, and then fling it at the opponent to do 20 damage. I don't know. You never know. Like decks like Flash Hulk, or Hulk Flash rather, come up, and cards all of a sudden that had no value, all of a sudden have value. So when I see this card, I think maybe this card is not in an abusable deck right now, but in the future it could be. So for that reason, if I could get my hands on some foils of these at a decent price, I would. I don't know if I'd go out of my way on it, but if you open one, I would hold on to it. Wouldn't trade it away. I would hold on to it. It goes out of print. So next card we're going to look at is Draconic War. Alright, a red and 1 instant. It does 3 damage to target creature. If you reveal a dragon card or control a dragon as you cast Draconic War, Draconic War deals 3 damage to that creature's controller. So it's kind of like a Searing Blaze if you have a dragon or player in your hand. And right now it's a $2 foil. Before the release, it is, I should mention, March 17th. Next weekend is the pre-release, so this will be available for opening and on sale in almost 2 weeks, just shy of 2 weeks. So short term, I think it's probably stay in the $2 foil. Long term, I have $4 foil down, but it could be 2 to 4. Might not quite be 4, but I do think this is an EDH card, and I really think this is like a kitchen table Magic playing kind of card for people. So people who are, I won't say casual players, but people who just play Magic for the love of Magic, not necessarily tournament, playing guys, but people who like to make theme decks. I know I have a group of friends that we'll sit around and we'd play, and we would Annie from our decks. We 20 years later into Magic, we're still Annie, or stick our names on things, whatnot, and so this is the kind of card I see for that. Like, I'm going to make a dragon deck specifically, and I'm going to play 4 on this card. So for that reason, I think it might hold some value long term. Okay, next card we're going to look at. I love this card, Commune with Lava. 2 red and X instant, which is what makes this so great. Exile the top X cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. Now, right now this is a $2 card, and I think it's probably going to, while in print, stay the $2 to $4 range. But long term, this just looks like it's made for combo decks. I think we're looking at a $3 to $8 card. Combo pieces don't typically get crazy expensive because their combo decks aren't typically like highly played decks, unless it's just the most broken deck around. But they haven't really made anything like that in standard in quite a while. But not unless everybody's playing in the Urza's block, where everybody wanted everybody was looking for all the combo pieces, Stroke of Genius and Tolarian Academy and whatnot. Man, that deck was sick. They had to ban that, and then they had to ban Memory Jar from Urza's Legacy. Like, immediately emergency ban that. But anyway, long term, I don't know if this is going to go right into a deck. The deck that it seems like it might fit into is Storm in Legacy, or maybe Modern, but I'm not sure. Um, it seems like it seems like this is a reasonable card to have, like, maybe one or two of in your deck if you were playing Storm, or Ad Nauseam. I don't know if Ad Nauseam would be able to handle the 2-red easily. It can, but it could, but I'm not sure if it's going to be great for that deck. But anyway, I don't know. It might, yeah, it might handle it. Anyway, like, if you're just getting your hand torn apart, or maybe you're going to lose next turn, at the end of your opponent's turn, you just tap out and cast this bad boy and hope that you hit gold. And if you even if you only rip 2 or 3 or 4 cards off the top of your deck, going into your next turn, that could be some good acceleration. It could just be a card that's used specifically that way. Like, I'm gonna wait until the very last moment, and then into my opponent's turn, I'm gonna pill this, not pill it, but I'm gonna cast this. I'm gonna tap out, cast it all. If my opponent counters it, then great. They're tapping out to counter at the end of their turn. If they let this hit, then I have access to 2, 3, 4 cards on my next turn that I wouldn't have. So I see this being in a deck somewhere, somehow. So I think this has some long-term play. Alright, let's see what we got here next. Next card, Twin Bolt. Twin Bolt, red and 1, instant. Twin Bolt does 2 damage divided as you choose among 1 or 2 target creatures and or players. So right now this seems really playable with all the red-white tokens and whatnot running around, Jeskai tokens. This is a $4 foil card right now, and short term I see it as a $2 to $4 foil. I see it staying somewhere in that price range. Long term, maybe, basically this is like the other half of Fire Ice, and Fire Ice saw some reasonable play in Modern, and even a little bit in Legacy occasionally. And Fire and Ice is not available to be played in Modern right now. So maybe this has a place in Modern, because it can handle, the fairy creature from the twin deck and 1 to the opponent. It can, in a Tarmogoyf matchup, it's the difference +1 to your opponent. I don't know. It just seems like it has some applications, possibly as a one of. So for that reason, I see this staying at least about a $4 foil, because I think it might hit some Modern sideboards, and I wouldn't rule out possibility of a Legacy sideboard, but not sure about that one. I would say like maybe 10-15% chance of that. So anyway, if you open one of these, hang on to one of these. I think I wouldn't go out of my way to pick these up, but they're pretty good for, I think, holding on to. Alright, next card. I absolutely love this card. Love it, love it, love it, love it, at least for now. Rending Volley, 1 red, instant. Rending Volley can't be countered by spells or abilities. Rending Volley deals 4 damage to target white or blue creature. Now, back in the day when, I think it was M11 came out, there was a card in there named Combust, and it was a red and 1. Instead, they did the exact same thing as this one, except it did 5 damage to a white or blue creature, and it couldn't be countered. That card was specifically printed to deal with, what's the old 5/5? Baneslayer Angel. It was made just to beat Baneslayer Angel, because Baneslayer Angel was being played so heavily, and it was so overpowered in the format. Or, I won't say it's overpowered, but it was very, very powerful in the format. That card was made for that. I feel very confident in saying this card was made specifically to help regulate Twin in Modern. Excuse me. And because it kills the Exarch, the Exarch. It's 4 toughness, kills that, kills the fairy. It's instant. It's 1 red, and can't be countered, and this is absolutely perfect. I almost always play red in modern, and this will go right into my sideboard. It's probably a 3F, depending on what deck I'm playing and how much hate I need for Twin. I don't think that they want to ban Twin in modern. Twin, I don't think it is definitely the A1 deck to meta against in modern, but I don't think it's just over. I don't think it's broken. It's very beatable, and I'm trying to think. I actually played modern on Sunday at the Star City in Fort Worth / Dallas, and I played. It was 9 rounds. I think I dropped after the 7th round, and I played 4 twin decks, and was 2-2 in the matchup. And I was running Combust. That will obviously be switched out for Rending Volley. But so 4 of my 7 matchups were twin, and so it's everywhere. So this is going to be a must for modern sideboards. So for that reason, as long as twin is legal in modern, this is a hot sideboard card. So I see this at being 4 or more. I mean, I could see this going $8-10 once this set is out of print, and so in that case, pick these up for $4. I would trade. Yeah, I would get them for $4 in trade. I think, because I think you only have upside on that. So anyway, that's been some of the red cards. We're going to look at some of the other colors. I'm not going to look at every single card. I'm only going to look at some of the key cards, or what I think are the key cards in the set for each color, and then we'll take a look at some of the price trends since I made the first set of videos, and go from there. So as always, this has been Rob, and thanks for watching. Peace out. Have a good one.